أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome everyone to our second to last lesson. Not our second to last session because we have a review session, but our second to last official lesson in class. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah for everyone who's been here regularly, taking the quizzes, participating in class, paying attention, all that. Inshallah, you guys have been able to benefit from it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, there's this reminder to renew for levels 2 and 3. I don't think that this deadline is accurate. I don't believe it's the 15th. I have to double check with administration to confirm about what the deadline is. But if you haven't renewed unless you've already paid for it, I'm not sure how that works administratively because I don't work on the administrative side. But this is just a reminder to just make sure you've um, taken the measures you need to make sure you continue into level 2 and 3. Of course, this summer, I believe you'll be doing 1C, inshallah. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this is a hadith, I believe. So it's our hadith for today. Let's go ahead and take a volunteer who would like to break it down. Let me just correct myself. It's not a hadith. I think next week is the hadith. All right. Any volunteers?
Mm. I'll go.
Yes. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, you're welcome. Uh, تواضع
Hmm.
مع شريفة الشرف من شرف. So this is a Jumla Ismaiyya because
Hmm.
the first word begins with L, which is an ism.
Nice.
Um, and then ma'a, that's a
Hmm.
harf jar.
Hmm.
And then sharaf, that is a um uh is a major,
Yeah, so that's good. I mean, for now, I think that's fine. I think you'll learn in level 3 that ma is technically an adverb. It's indicating place, right?
Mhm.
Like it's with something else, like in terms of proximity.
Okay.
And so it's still a prepositional phrase, but it would fall under the category of idafa, technically.
Oh, interesting. Because I
Yeah.
saw it ended with Kesra, so I was
Yeah.
looking for.
Well, it could still end in kasra and be an idafa, right?
Well, no, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but you'll learn more of the technicalities of it in level 3. One of the hints that tells you something is an adverb of time or place, like you know how you have ba'da, fawqa, tahta, right? They're all under, above, below, right? You have those
Right.
they indicate time or place, but those all end in fatha, and that's a big clue, that's a big clue to help you distinguish between what's a preposition, a harf in the prepositional phrases, and which one is an adverb, because the adverbs fall under this category. They fall under isms technically, and the key
I
for that
see.
is they have a fatha most of the time. So like ila doesn't have a fatha because it ends in an alif maqsura. Ala, same thing.
Mhm.
Bi doesn't end in a fatha. Li, right, or lahu. So that's another just general hint. But okay, awesome. Thank you. Go ahead and keep
Okay.
going. Yeah.
Yep. And then uh you erased it, but it looks like that. Right. So that's the mubtada.
Yeah, good. You didn't say it yet, so I was like, oh, let me just erase it. But yes, you're right.
That was a good hint. And then right, so this I'll say it the adverbial phrase, right? I assume that would be the khabar.
Mm. Okay. Now let's look at the sentence though. Because remember,
Okay.
the khabar is also, it's the predicate. It's giving us information. Literally in Arabic, it means news. Khabar is news.
Right.
And in the grammatically in a sentence, it's the news that you get about the subject, right? So it's the new information about the mubtada.
Hmm.
So you have to kind of look through and say, okay, does it make sense for ma'a sharafi to be the khabar? Which means that if it were the khabar, then everything after it would be additional and unnecessary to the sentence, right? So I could
Got it. Okay.
stop after tawalda ma'a sharaf technically,
Got it. Okay.
right?
All right.
So,
All
okay,
right.
so that's close, but that's technically not my khabar here. And I'll give you a hint because we know the khabar is in the is in the rafa case, excuse me. What do we see here that's automatically in the rafa case? Besides tawalda, of course.
Right. So the following word, ashrafu.
Yeah, awesome. And so ashrafu is technically my khabar here, and it's because what I'm really saying is humility is more honorable than, right? But it's
Right.
qualifying the type of humility here.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then min is your harf jar,
Right.
and then ashraf is your ism major.
Good. Awesome. And this is sharaf, right? We have sharaf and ashraf. It's the same root letters, but they're on different patterns technically. Sharaf is the noun, right? It's being used as a noun. Ashraf here technically is a comparative. So when we have ashraf min, that together creates a comparative construct, which is saying like more honorable than. And so that's what we have here because we have the min.
Right. Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
Makes
awesome. Awesome. Okay, is there anything else we want to add here? Um, oh yeah, so the min here, right, technically ends in sukun, right? The fatha is there because of what reason?
Oh, tajweed.
Exactly. Good. Excellent. That's great preparation for next semester. But technically it ends in sukun, and so it's also a harf. It doesn't actually have a fatha on the end there, right? So I'm
Hmm.
just want us to kind of think a little bit more about the harf versus the isim that's an adverb, right? Awesome. Okay. Do you want to try to translate this?
Sure. Right. Humility with uh, um, nobility
Mm-hmm.
is more noble than nobility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, sorry, is gonna fall in right here. Cool. All right. Any questions on this?
Is this a construct that we'll learn a little bit more about in the
Yeah.
future? Okay, because I found it kind of confusing when I first saw this. I mean, obviously the grammatical rules, like for
Mm-hmm.
the mubtada and khabar, that part makes sense, but the ma'al shar ma sharafi
Mm-hmm.
part is kind of confusing to me
Okay.
still.
Yeah. Well, ma sharafi by itself, it's an idafa that's coming, it's a prepositional phrase that's an idafa, right? So we covered this in level 1A. I think it's like lesson 8 or 9. But it's just a little bit more, usually we don't discuss ma'a that much, and it comes up again in level 3. But it's simply just it's a prepositional phrase. But remember, there's two types of prepositional phrases, right? The ones that start with a harf and the ones that start with a ism. And ma technically is an ism because it indicates like proximity, which is a type of place, right? So it's indicating like closeness with something or proximity to something. And so it's going to be a prepositional phrase. Ashrafu min is also something we'll cover in level 2. You'll learn about the comparative there.
So it's like a zarf, is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. It is a dharf. Yeah, ma'a is a dharf. I think we have a couple more questions. Go ahead, Shazia.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
So I like to know what's the root for at-tawazu? Is it waw, da, and ain?
Yes, that is correct.
So what is
Awesome.
the ta doing there?
The ta, so that's great. That's a great question. This is something you'll also cover in level 2. Tawalda has those root letters just as you stated. But what happens, and we'll see this in level 2, is that it's going to fall. Sometimes those root letters will end up on different patterns. And this pattern is going to be a specific, it's the verbal noun for form 6. So it's tafa'ala yatafa'alu tafa'ul. That's the pattern. So I can write it for you too if you'd like it. Tafa'ulun. And we learned about the verbal noun or the masdar in level 1, which is that noun that comes at the end of our list of verbs, right? We have like, um, what's a good example?
Sakanun.
I'm sorry.
Today's word is sakan. So sakanun,
Okay, yeah. So sakana yaskunu, what is it? Saknun?
saknun, I think.
Yeah, or dariba yadribu, darubun, right? So this is the verbal noun for the pattern you're going to see in level two. It's for form number 6. Okay, and so tawada falls on this pattern. So the meaning of the root is still kind of there, but it adds there's gonna be a different meaning. It's not exactly like it is with wada, right? Because wada means to place. But I believe form 6 usually has some aspect of like reflexivity in it. So you'll learn all those meanings in level 2, inshallah. But yeah,
So
that's a good
I'm,
question. Mhm.
thank you. So I'm still confused. How does wada'u become humility?
Yeah. So that's you're kind of asking more about like how language and meaning is formed. Because in Arabic, let me just look up the roots to make sure we have this. Um, we have there are two sources of meaning. There's the root letters and then there's the form. And usually you'll put those together, like the pattern of something, right? Which we have tafa'ul, and then we have the wada'a, right? That are the root letters, and together they'll make a specific type of meaning, right? Now this form, right? So if we look at form 6 for wada'a, right? So first you go to the verb wada'a, and then you go to the form for that verb, and you'll get a specific meaning coming from that form. This that the excuse me, the verbal noun will just come from that. So the form 6 meaning for tawada'a by itself is just to behave humbly and modestly. That's what it means in even as a verb. So when you transfer that into a noun, it becomes humility. It can even be like you could even say modesty, but I think humility here works a little bit better. Now here, wada'a means to place, right? Or to put something down or to lay it down. And so sometimes like you'll see this more in level 2. So I hear your question. You'll get more of the specifics in level 2, but just as like I guess precursor to it. Oftentimes like form 6 might mean something like to apply that to yourself. So you take like the form 1 and you apply it to the individual, which could then mean like to place oneself. So like to put yourself in place in a sense is like to like humble yourself or to make sure you're in place with the rest of society, for example, or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it,
You'll get into more details of like the specifics for each form and like the additional meanings that come from each form. That'll all happen in level 2. Yeah.
thank you. It makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah. And then I think we also have Anila, you have a question?
Yeah, going back to the
Mhm.
masharaf,
Yeah.
um, on a quiz, since it's both an idafa as well as a uh, harf, would it
So
be
it's
on a
not a
quiz?
harf. We already said ma
Uh,
is not technically a harf. It's a ism, right? Because whenever we have an idafa is composed of it's a doubled ism construct. When what I mean by that is we have an ism and another ism.
right.
Right. So ma is not a harf. I think you said that. So I don't know if you intended that or is your question that or is it something else?
Okay. Okay, then I think I misunderstood. I thought earlier you were saying it's both, like it's an harf, it's also a harf jar as well as an idafa. So you're
No,
saying
no,
it's
it's
not
not
a
both.
harf jar.
It's not both, but
It's only
I,
an idafa.
yeah, it's only an idafa, and
Okay.
that's because like the I have to look back at the lesson 1 to see if we actually cover ma there because I don't remember if we do or not. And sometimes just to make it easy, like teachers will just say it's a prepositional it's a harf jar, but it's not technically.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's where I was going because I think there was some reference to it being a harf jar, right? But you're saying that that's not the case.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's go ahead then and get into our listening exercise. Okay, Bismillah. So we're gonna go ahead and skip out on the main listing. We'll just do the partial ones. Bismillah.
على الله توكلنا ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للقوم الظالمين ونجنا برحمتك من القوم الكافرين اللهم إنا نجعلك في نحورهم ونعوذ بك من شرورهم.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I think we had Mike start. So we'll go ahead and we'll go up this time. So we'll go backwards. So we have Misbah. No, that's after. Sorry, Misbah. We have Fatih. Excuse me. Go ahead, Fatih. Why don't you give me the first three blanks? Let me mark this up for us.
Uh, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I'm sorry, I displaced my book. I'm trying to
Okay.
find it right now.
Okay, no problem. All right, let's go ahead then and take Iram. Could you give me the first three, please?
Yes, it's على الله توكلنا
Mm-hmm.
ربنا لا تجعلنا
Mm-hmm.
فتنة للقوم الظالمين.
Awesome. Okay, great. So tell me what you notice here. What stands out to you immediately?
The first one على الله is
Okay.
like jar majrur.
Awesome.
توكلنا is إضافة.
Yeah, nice.
And
Wait,
ربنا
wait, wait. Sorry. Let's go
Oh.
back. توكلنا. Try that again. It's hanadafa technically. Yeah.
um so it's verb it's fail
Yeah, good. What's gonna throw you guys off until you to get to level two is the form. So this is what it was originally. Tawakkala, right? And then we have tawakkalna. So what kind of verb is it? Madi, mudari, amr.
it's مضارع.
So I said so as I mentioned, this is the form of the verb. So that means the ta is a part of the form. If it was mudari, it would actually be tatawakkalu, right?
So it will be it's madi.
Yeah, this is actually madi. And so what's that na there? What is that grammatically?
It's file.
Yeah, good. It's the fa'il. Excellent, right? If it was mudari, that na couldn't be a fa'il, right? That would have to be a maf'ul bihi. And also
Yeah.
the sukoon doesn't make sense either if it was mudari, right? Because the mudari rarely has a sukoon in it. It doesn't end in sukoon like that. Unless it's a command, which is not what's happening here either. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
And then Rabbana is the idafa.
Nice. Okay.
And la is for negation. And taj'alna it's a command.
Yeah, this is it's a prohibition. Like it's a command that's negating, right? It's a negative command. Uh, and so when you have a negative command, you actually use a mudari. You use a mudari and it takes a sukoon at the end, like you're seeing. Yeah, but yeah, good job. Awesome.
And
so taj'alna here, what's the na here?
na is the maf'ul bihi.
Yeah, awesome. You see the difference between tawakkalna and taj'alna? Well, this is tricky because this is a special mudari that takes a sukoon because of the la. That's not exactly what's happening with tawakkalna, right? Because only this la and a few other types of las or a few other particles for the mudari will create that sukoon situation. And so it's not common. It's only in specific cases, right? Okay, awesome.
And fitnatan is also maf'ul bihi.
Yeah, awesome. It's the second one. We're gonna see today that ja'ala can take two maf'ul bihis. Yeah.
And lil qawmi is the jar majrur.
Yeah, awesome.
And lil qawmi zalimina. It says it's mansub, so will it be?
Is it mansub or is it jar? Is it
Also,
jar or
it's
nasb?
jar. Yeah.
Okay, why? Now it's a little tricky, but look at the clues for Jend. It'll help you out.
So for qawmi, because qawmi is the in jar case, so it will be, and it's like plural, so it will be zalimina.
Yeah, so it's a sifa wa mawsuf, right? Awesome. Okay, excellent. Right? And so lil qawm zalimin, because qawm is a plural, it indicates a group. Zalimin is also it's plural for that reason, right? So it's the disbelieving people. Okay, we have a couple more questions. Let's see. Tabassum, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
I heard you mention that because of law, taj'alna is in al-madari. Can you please elaborate that?
So it's not madari because of the la. The verb is already madari. Taj'ala, ja'ala yaj'alu, taj'alu for anta, right? What the la is doing is the la is causing, so because this is madari, originally there's a dhamma here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you can't see it very well. There was originally a dhamma up here. This la removes the dhamma and makes it a sukoon. That's what the la is doing. Okay? And
All
you'll
right.
learn about this in level 2. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hmm. Okay. Mike, go ahead.
So I'm still not clear what kind of what the difference is between twakkalna and
Mhm.
taj'alna. Like,
Yeah.
right? So you just described the sukoon because of
Yeah.
the la on
Yeah.
taj'alna.
Yeah.
Um, but so why is there sukoon on the la? And then my next question is na for twakkalna.
Hmm.
Na is a full bihi. Is that correct?
So in
Maf'ul?
tawakkalna, the na
Mhm.
is my doer, it's my agent, it's my fa'al, right? And that's
I see.
because tawakkala is my melodic conjugation, and it's a standard melodic conjugation. The form is just form 5, but it follows the same pattern we've seen with form 1, right? Dhahaba, dhahabtu, dhahabti, dhahabna, right? And so
Yep.
on, right? You could keep going.
Yep.
And so the sukoon in tawakkalna is just because it's a part of the standard past tense conjugation. There's no la there either to make that sukoon there, right? We don't see a la. Whereas in taj'alna, one, we know that for the mudari, there's only a few attached doers, right? Like the wow in yadrusuna, right? Or yadrusani for the dual, right? There's
Hmm.
no when I use nahnu for the mudari, it's nedrusu with that nun in the beginning. There's no suffix that comes with the verb, right? That's my doer. So the
Yep.
nun, the na here can't be a doer. It's got to be a direct object, right? So it's going to be a maf'ul bihi. So that's the main difference between the nas. And then taj'alu, right? The ta in taj'alu is because I'm conjugating for anta, for Rabb, right? I'm speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas the ta in tawakkala, it's coming from that form, from the form 5 verb. Okay?
Right.
So
Okay.
even though they look the same, they're very different. And you'll see more of this when you understand the forms and you kind of go through them in level 2, inshallah. But yeah, it's good to ask for clarification. All right, Fatih, you have a question?
I'm just saying that I found the book, so I can go.
Excellent. We can go. I'll have you go next. I think we have one more question. Go ahead, Anila.
Okay, two things. And I'm sorry, I'm still not getting. So how would we have known that the tawakkalna is the form 5 verb versus the ja'alna is not like
So you haven't
is
done the
that
form 5 yet. You haven't learned that yet. That's
right?
I've mentioned that many times. And
No,
so
no, no. So that's
yeah.
I get that we do so, but right now it's in our book, right? So how if I was taking a quiz, how would I know
So the quiz won't
the
ask you
difference
about the form
between
5 verb. It won't ask you because you haven't technically learned it officially based through the curriculum. So it would never ask you about. And if it does, let me know because I'll talk to administration about that. But the quizzes for level 1A or level 1B and I think 1C, nothing will cover anything you haven't officially covered in the curriculum.
So I guess what
Yeah.
I'm trying to get at is if I didn't know that this was a level 5 form 5 verb, if I didn't know that, right? And I
Yes.
just see the na on tawakkalna and the na on taja'alna, and I don't know everything that I'm not supposed to know, how would I, in looking at this, other than us to memorize based on the fact that we've had these conversations, would there be any other way for me to take a quiz and know that these are two different? Um, the na is something different in these two verbs.
So
Do you
again,
see what I'm saying? Like without you explaining to me that
yeah.
this was
Well,
form 5? Mhm.
yeah, so I hear what you're saying, but you're assuming that the quiz is going to ask you on things that the curriculum hasn't officially covered yet. I'm giving you that additional information because I think that's part of how I teach is that I like to give you more so that when you get to level 2 and you realize there's 9 other verb forms you have to learn and memorize, it's not as overwhelming for you at that point. So I try to give it to you guys early. I'm telling you the information not for you guys to expect to be quizzed on it. It's just something I'm hoping over conversations throughout the 1B semester, you guys are actually able to just pick up through, oh yeah, we're talking about this. It'll come up again next week and it's been coming up. So over time, it might just kind of click. And if it doesn't, that's okay. Because when level 2 comes, and you might be like, in level 2. Oh yeah, we actually might have talked about this in level 1B a little bit. And so I remember this, right? I'm not giving you the information additionally for
So
the purpose of
yeah,
examination. And I think that's
sorry,
where
no,
what the assumption is, no?
no. So yeah, no. So my question's actually a little different. So it's
Okay.
basically on the quiz, right? If I had to distinguish whether tawakkalna is madi or mudare, and I have to distinguish whether tajalna is madi or mudare, right? Um, how would I be able to distinguish that? Or you're just saying they're just not going to ask me?
That is what I'm
Like
saying. Yes. I'm saying
they're not going to ask me
they
which
won't
one,
ask you
if
about
this one's madi or
tawakkalna.
mudare.
They will not
They
ask you
will
about
just
the word tawakkalna because you haven't
got it.
covered it yet. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it.
That,
Got it. Got it.
yeah.
Got it. That's fine. That helps. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then okay. And sorry, on lil qawmi zalimin,
Hmm.
um I guess how do I know that it's the Sifa Masuf? Is it because like am I looking
Okay.
at it for Jend, or is there another way to know
Okay. How do we identify
that?
Sifil Mawsuf?
So I know it's it's an adjective that describes,
Right.
right? And that it would have to fit Jend.
Okay. So does it fit, Jen? You have to ask yourself that.
Okay, so that's what I would start with. If I'm again taking a quiz, first I'd look to see, okay, in this case, does it fit Jend?
Yeah, you're doing that every single
Yeah.
time you ask about
Okay.
an adjectival phrase, right? Every single time you have a sifo mausuf, or you think you do, you have to go through Jen to double check and make sure that it is in fact an adjectival phrase. If they don't match in Jen, then it's either an exceptional situation where there's one where you have a non-human plural, or it could be an idafa and you might have just mistooken it to be a sifo mausuf, right? So you do every single time you think something is an adjectival phrase, you want to walk through Gen. Over time, it'll become natural. But here, if we go through Gen, what's the gender? They're masculine. There's no feminine signs. What's the end case? Well, it's the case is Rafa, or excuse me, the case is Jud because Qalmi has a kasra because it has a li before it, right? It's a jar majud construct as I think who was it that someone had, sorry, I'm forgetting who the student was that gave this, but they did a good job. It was a Jara Majud construct, and then
Right.
Thalamin has that yeah, but that yeah doesn't just indicate Jud, it can also indicate Nusb, but it can't be Nusb here. That doesn't make sense, right? It's too far from my verb, and it's coming immediately after Qawm. Okay, there's my end case. Number, they're both plural. Qawm indicates plural. Thalamin is a plural because it has the yanun ending, and then they both have el, so they're both definite, right? So then I go through and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Jend. It's a Sifo Mosuf construct.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
Shazia, you also have a question.
Yes, a very quick one.
Mhm.
Taj al-na, Taj al, how is that a command? Am I missing something? Shouldn't it have
So it's not a technical amr command. It's a what we call, you haven't learned this yet. So um you haven't technically learned it yet. You'll learn about it, I believe, in level 2. Okay? So it's a it's a negative command, and a negative command uses the mudari'. Okay?
okay?
And so it uses the mudari', but the difference is that for certain conjugations it ends in that sukoon there, right?
Mhm.
That's really the main thing. And so it's not a command as we know the amr where it follows all the rules of amr. It does follow the one rule, which is the sukoon, but it also still looks like a conjugation for the mudari', and technically it's still a mudari' verb.
So
Does that make,
any
yeah.
verb can be converted into this kind of command, correct?
Only mudari' verbs, any of the conjugations for the mudari' can be, but only the mudari', not the madi. You can't do this for the madi.
Okay, so
Yeah.
tadribu can also convert into
Yeah, you say tadrib. La
tadrib.
tadrib, which means don't hit, as opposed to idrib, which is hit, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Fatih, go ahead and give us the next two blanks, please.
Okay, ونجنا برحمتك من القوم الكافرين.
Hmm. Okay. Sorry, give me one sec. All right, what are you seeing here? Is there anything that you notice?
نجنا is past tense, I think, and the na is means we.
Okay, good. And what is it grammatically?
Grammatically, najina. Uh, I'm not sure. Does it?
Okay. It's
Oh,
actually
is
our
it?
direct. Go ahead.
Does the wa count as like a harf for the?
Yeah, the waw is a harf. It's a conjunction.
Oh, okay. So it wouldn't be prepositional phrase.
Um, no, because it's not because there's no ism after it. Najja is a verb.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. All
Mm.
right. What else are you seeing?
برحمتك
Mm-hmm.
برحمتك is a prepositional phrase, I think.
Yeah, good. It is. Good. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. It's bi rahmati, right? It's a jar majrud. Excellent. What else are you seeing?
Is it the same for the min al-qawmi?
Yeah. Yep, that's
Okay.
right. Awesome. And then same thing. Al-qawm al-kafirin is like lil-qawm al-zalimin. It's also a sifa mawsuf.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. And then rahmatika is also an idafa because it's the mercy of yours.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Let's go ahead. Yes, Shazia.
So isn't that a maful bi again? A second maful bi rahmatika?
So, yeah. Technically, grammatically, it's just a sifa. Excuse me. Grammatically, it's just a jaru majrud. Even though, like in meaning, we might understand. No, here even in meaning, it's like protect us with your mercy, with right, bi rahmatika.
With your mercy. So it says afa. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And just so people know, nedja is a form. Um, nedja yunadji. This is coming from. I don't know why this has a shadda on it too. Oh, it's form two, that's why. It's coming from the root letters, neja. Sorry, this doesn't look great. It's neja, and it means to save or to rescue. That's the meaning. Sorry, it means to save us with your mercy. And so, when this is in the command, it's a special form. Okay, it's a form two. We haven't covered it yet, but this is just extra information. So for people that might want to understand what's happening with the verb construct, it's nedji, and then when we make it a command, this little alif, because it's a weak letter, gets dropped, so it goes away. And then the fatha becomes a kasra, and we get nedjina. Awesome. Okay, let's see. I think we have
Can I just ask one question?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
going back to that, bi rahmatika,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the cat, what is that grammatically?
So if this is an adafa, what would it be? Rahmatika.
Roughly.
Yeah, and so what's the grammatical role of the mudaf ilayhi?
Grammatical rule of the mudaf.
Yeah, what case is it in?
Oh, it's jar case.
Yeah, and so the kaf is what case? It's also jad, but where's the sign?
Well, cat is fixed.
Exactly. So it's in the jad case, and the sign is just hidden because we have a fixed pronoun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Great. All right. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. No problem. Go ahead, Shazia. You also had a question.
Yes, with the Najina.
Mhm.
So I'm because we haven't learned all these words. So
Right.
this can be also divided as it's a pronoun in the beginning or it's a pronoun in the end. Na and na.
Then so
So
this
we
na is
have
a
to figure
pronoun.
it out. Which
Yeah,
one it is?
the second one. The first one is usually never a pronoun. Remember, like even if it's a melodic conjugation, like nedrusu, that noon in nedrusu is not a pronoun. It's just a part of how the conjugation appears.
Okay, so but
Yeah.
it's neither.
Yeah, it's not. What do you mean neither? It's either a pronoun or what else?
Um,
Or you
so
mean, yeah.
the pronoun the na is a pronoun here, but it's a maful be pronoun.
Yeah. The second one with the alif is a pronoun, yes. It's an attached pronoun. The first one is a part of the root, actually. And so this is like the type of investigation you guys are gonna have to do is like, oh my gosh, I see noon jeem, like what is that? And then like I when I was looking it up because I missed this word when I was prepping. I actually looked up noon jim and I'm like, wait, there's no noon jim in the dictionary. I couldn't find it. And so I was like, oh, that means there's probably a hidden letter, which is either a ya or a wow, that I didn't see. And so I tried noon jim wow or noon jim ya, and then I get najah with it, which is the form one. This is what we would know. Like da, like to supplicate, right? This is the form one, najah. And then I was like, okay, but there's a shadda. What is going to explain the shadda? And I look down in the verbs and I see a form two. And the form two is this specific form, which of course you'll learn in level two, right? But that's you're gonna slowly learn how to use this like process of elimination of sorts with the different rules that you're learning, which is part of why it's so important to like make sure you memorize a lot of them because not like every single rule, but when you memorize the bases, like the what your attached pronouns are, what your doers are, your main constructs from level 1A, those are the tools you're using to help you kind of investigate things that might be tricky. But it's not like you have to know how to do every tricky thing. It's like a mental skill that you're acquiring, which is also why I like to ask you guys a lot of questions so you guys can kind of build that habit. It's a mental habit we're trying to build where you're like, oh, it can't be this, maybe it's this, or why is it this? We want to ask ourselves those types of questions. Yeah, Bushra, go ahead.
Quick question. You're talking about looking up the root, and um, just curious, why wouldn't somebody would be looking at noon gene?
Why
Because
would they or why wouldn't they? I just didn't hear
why
you.
wouldn't they? Because you
Yeah.
have gone through the process of
Yeah.
looking at noon gene and
Yeah.
then putting some sort of a weak letter,
Yeah.
kind of a guessing game.
Yeah.
So I
Good.
understand, but why not, for
Yeah.
a person like me, is like
Yeah.
gene probably appearing twice. So I might go start up noon gene.
Yeah.
So
So you're absolutely right. You're right. I did do that first, but I think there's just a small rule um that we're just missing. And I just have a quick question because I'm kind of curious now that you're asking the question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how often do you look up words in the dictionary, in the Arabic dictionary? So like 1 is like I never do it. You can put 0. A 10 is like I do it with every single word I don't know. Or there's like 5. Sometimes I'm right in the middle. Or there's 7 or 2 or whatever it might be. Because
3 to 4 when I'm
huh?
doing one
Yeah.
reading, it's this listening activity.
Yeah.
So it was probably 3 to 4 times I pulled up Hans
Okay.
dictionary,
Yeah.
but it's
Okay.
very difficult to read right now.
Yeah,
Beware.
no, that's fine. And so if that's the case, we can spend more time using it. Like you guys see the dictionary I just pulled up, right? Okay, thank you for the honesty. I do appreciate it. And that's fine. If it's confusing, then we should spend more time with it. That's totally fair. Um, so for example, we have that word nedja. Okay, everyone remembers the word. I'm gonna look it up. So just like you said, Bushra, I am technically looking up noon jim. The way the dictionary works is if I have a doubled root letter, like noon, jim, or if I have ra, dal, I don't look up jim twice, okay? I won't do this. So if I try to do this, it won't, it'll just take me, I mean, you could do it. It'll just take you where you're supposed to go. It actually, if you notice, it's supposed to be here. So that, because they see it as like two root letters only because one is doubled, and so they actually comes right in the beginning. So it's supposed to be here, but if you notice, there's nothing here. And if you even look after, right, there's noon jim ha, right? Look, noon jim ha, nejaha, and then look, there's nothing after it. There's noon jim dal, right? And so one of the things we need to be able to do is I need to know the alphabetical order of the Arabic alphabet, right? And hopefully most of us, I'm assuming we all know that. But there's nothing here or here. So I don't have a noon jim. There's that root letter isn't in my dictionary. So now I'm sitting here thinking, okay, well, what could be happening? It's not a doubled root letter. So I could at that point be like, hey, maybe there's a weak letter I don't know about. So there's only two weak letters that are actual root letters in Arabic. It's wow or yeah. So I'm gonna try one of them. Let's just go with wow. Okay, so I look up noon jim wow, and then I go down. All right, what did I find? Najah, look, noon jim wow. And I read it right to save oneself to be saved. This kind of looks like the meanings we have in the dua. But then there's that shadda. And so the shadda is something you won't know until you get to level 2, right? And you're going to see that this is the Roman numerals under the verb indicate the verb pattern. Okay? So the verb form, really the technical term is the form. And when you get to level 2, you'll be able to say, oh, this is form 2, this is form 4. And so the form 2 and the form 4 have the same meaning here. That's why it just has and. And so now I keep reading. Go back up here and look. To deliver, to save, to rescue, to bring to safety someone. So this little ha here, which is, when we see those has with a verb, it's usually a direct object, right? So it's assuming bringing safety to someone, rescuing someone, saving someone, right? That's one way that you can understand the verb. And that's if it's in English we call it what kind of verb is it? In I know the technical term in Arabic, but in English it's like when the verb takes a direct object, right? Versus when the verb doesn't. But here, this verb can take one or it cannot take one. If it doesn't take one, it can have that min and it can have the same meaning. Okay? Yes, transitive. Thank you, Olavi. So this is a transitive verb. A transitive verb is a verb that transfers. It transfers to an object versus an intransitive verb which cannot transfer, so it cannot take objects, right? We have the same thing in Arabic. You'll learn more about this later, but that's just a hint. So that's the meaning I have, to save, to rescue. And that's what we're getting in the dua, right? So it is a bit of a guessing game, but the guessing game, it's not like super like, oh, I have no idea what it is anymore. It's like, no, let me just think. Okay, I have the root letters. Let me ignore the shadda and let me try wawa ya, right? Again, like these are skills I'm trying to go through with us as a group so that we have them in our toolkit. It's not really the way to, it's not really gonna, it'll help you on quizzes, but it's not like you're gonna be tested on the style of my teaching, if that makes sense. Because I know I generally
No,
will
this
give
is
you
very
guys more
helpful.
information. Yeah, I generally
This
give
is
you
very
guys,
helpful. Yeah,
um,
to understand all these tools so we can advance the
yeah.
thing.
Because you'll see like the jump sometimes, and I've had this with students, like if you don't t try to prepare students a little bit in 1B, which is all review for level two can get overwhelming, and I don't want students to feel that way when they're in level 2. At least they'll be like, oh, we talked about this a little bit. Oh, it's not so bad. Um, so this is one of the reasons. But just to go through the dictionary, right? I think we've said this before, is when we have a dictionary or we have a dictionary entry, you can look up any word. If you guys want, type a word in the chat and we can look it up together. But if a lot of people feel like they want to spend more time with the dictionary, that's fine. We could totally spend part of class doing that. But let's just go over Najah again. So when we start with the dictionary, the first thing we do is we get the verb. So we're gonna get the verb first. The nouns will come after the verb. Okay? Just give me one sec. So the nouns come after the verb. The verb comes first. What I get here in this parentheses, nejawa, these are my root letters. But what I have here, as you see, there's an alif instead of a wow. This is how the word looks in the madi. This is how the word looks in the past tense. Okay, so, but when I conjugate neja into like ana or anta, or excuse me, anta, anti, any of those, it becomes najautu. The root letter comes back. So I say neja for hua, but when I have my other conjugations, I get najauta and so on. Okay, and as you can see, this transliteration, this is telling me how to pronounce the madi. So it's basically telling me, let's see, it's telling me how I have two fathas here. That's why there's a A and then an A with a line over it. That's a long A, like a alif, right? This U here is telling me that this is a dhamma when it's in the mudari. Okay, so when I have the mudari and I want to say like he saves or he is saved, right? I would say neja yanju. The jim, which is my second root letter, right, is gonna have a dhamma because my dictionary tells me, right? I think if you guys remember in level 1, when we first learned the mudara, we said, hey, that vowel on the second root letter, it changes depending on the verb, and you really know what it is if you look it up in the dictionary. But Falakih in the vocabulary will give you that the vowel on that second root letter. They have been doing it. But this is how you find it in the dictionary. It's that little U there. Okay, everything here, nejwun, najat, najatun, right? These are all the potential verbal nouns. They're all the potential masdars for my verb, right? Which is that additional thing at the end. And then I have the definitions for form 1. Everything here, before the number 2, the Roman numeral 2, is my form 1. This is the form that we learned in level 1. These are all the potential meanings for form 1. But let's look at it. It really stops here, right? You see this little dash here? These are all the potential meanings, right? So, and you can use what works best in terms of meaning, or contextually something might work better than something else. If you see the min, like get away, this meaning comes if there is a min. To escape from something, that also meaning is possible when there's a min present. That's why the min is in parentheses. And then everything after this dash, this is all, they're like phrases that we have in Arabic. So you have naja bi nafsihi or naja bi ruhihi, to save oneself from something. Naja bi hayatihi, to save one's life, to save one's skin. See how they're trying to translate it so it makes sense in English, right? So if you were to say, "Oh, I saved his skin," you would say like something like naja bi hayatihi or something like that, right? Now we have another potential meaning that's different from this first one. See this giant dash here? We have to entrust with a secret to someone. Now this is the same root. It's the same word, but it has a second meaning. Okay, like if you look up something in an English dictionary, there's like sometimes 4 or 5 meanings. It's the same idea, right? This is one set of meanings, but now this one's a little different, and the verbal nouns for this are also different. Nejwan. It's going to be a little different. Okay, so those are the 2 potential meanings. Then you go into all the forms, okay? So you see, you don't have forms 2 through 10 for every single for every single verb. Every verb differs on what's there, and that's based off of how the language was constructed. So you see here, we have form 3, Roman numeral 3, right? We have Roman numeral 6, 8, 10. There's no 9 here. There's no 5 here. After that, you get the nouns. Everything after this, so after here, everything underneath are nouns. And so if you're looking for a noun, what you do is you first go find the root letters, look for your verb, and then see where the verb ends. And then once you get to the nouns, you kind of just have to read through them until you come across the word that you want. Once you come across the word that you want, you found it. You found the meaning that you're looking for. And that's really the gist of it. Like straightforward, like what you do when you're looking up a word, break it down to its root letters. Find the verb, get to the end of the verb section. If it's a verb, see the meanings of the verb. If it's a noun, keep reading. Does anyone have any technical questions on the dictionary? Because I know this is tricky, but maybe someone has some questions. Does it make more sense?
It definitely makes more sense. Thank you so much. I have one question about when you were saying like when it talks about najabi nafsihi, najabi ruhi, they're just kind of giving you examples of like colloquialisms where this would be used or something like that. Okay.
They're like phrases or idioms in Arabic.
Okay.
Idioms might be the best word, yeah.
Okay. And then when you were saying that the you after naja is so that is indicating that in the present tense that it would take a dhamma.
On the second root letter.
On the second root letter. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And we can try. We'll look at what is a verb that jumps into your mind, Zahira? Just give me a verb. We'll look it up. Like darasa. Okay, yeah. Good. That's one we all know. How do you say that in Arabic? And then we'll it.
In Mudari.
Yadrusu.
Yeah, thank you, Shazia. Excellent. Okay, look, darasa showed up here. Look. Same thing. Look, we have my root letters. Okay. And look, the root letters is no different from the Madi. They look exactly the same. Here's how I say it in the Madi. It's all fathas. Yadrusu. Oh, just like Shazia said, that second root letter, the ra, has a dhamma. Yadrusu. What's the masdar? Darsun. Right, there it is. And here are my meanings. Okay. Up until I get to here, that's my form 2. So all of these meanings are potential meanings for form 1. Right? Now there's dars and there's durus. And this is a different meaning, right? It's a different meaning for the form 1. Right?
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Let's try another one. Let's try kabura, which means to be big. Let's make sure I'm right about that. We'll look it up. Kabura, okay? It's from kabir, right? Someone that's big or large, something large, right? So let's go down. No, it's not kabata. We keep going down because ra is after ta, right? Kabaha, not that. Let's keep going. Oh, here it is. Kabura. Look. Okay, look here. Look, there's even a one here because it actually has a different multiple meanings. That's why the one's there. But look, kabu, this should be this is actually kabara with a fatha, right? You see that fatha? Kabara, yakburu. Now, if we go to the next page, I think the next one, if I'm not mistaken, should be, where is it? Let's see here. Let's kibrun. There should be one that says. Okay. Huh. That's weird. There should be a kabura, which is also here it is. I'm sorry. I totally missed it. It's like right in front of me. Right here. Look, kabura. This one has a U, right? And it's also yakburu, the dhamma on both, but this one means to be or become great or to be big. Okay? So this one is intransitive, and this one can be transitive, I believe. Okay? So you have multiple versions of verbs and so on, but you kind of have to read through it. All right, so alhamdulillah. Let's go ahead and jump back to our listening. Maybe we can finish that off and then we can take our break, inshallah. But I hope the dictionary, like just the shift over to the dictionary made sense to everyone. Um, what I'd like us to do people have, I've just a couple of questions because we can make this like a lot more interactive if people want to. Are people using their laptops when they're in class or are they using phones? Just type in P for phone or L for laptop or C for computer. Oh, I'm not supposed to share. I'm supposed to do my slideshow. Awesome. Cool. Most people are using laptops. Awesome. So since Etjal is an app, right? What I'd like you to do, if you don't have the app, go ahead and download it. But if you do have it, open the app on your phone. Okay, just open the app on your phone. And what would be really cool is if in class, sometimes we come across verbs we don't know, we can just have people looking up the words live in class. And if you're, we can do it together because I think some of that practice might be helpful. So if for those people that are using their laptops, which I think is most people, if you can do that with your phone, it's a great way to start practicing and getting comfortable with the dictionary. So everyone who's, yeah, this is like majority of people are using misbah. I don't know what the O is. Maybe that's a P. Um, But that's something we can do is like, hey, can someone look up the root letters for this? You look it up and you tell me what you're seeing, and we can kind of talk, walk through it, and then you start building that mental ability to figure out how to use the dictionary. So I know we're on lesson 11, so it's not kind of fun to do it at the end of the semester, but we've got lesson 12 and we have a review semester, a review session, so we can definitely do it for those, um, if people are up for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask next week, or even now, if people want to have their phones out. Let me know if you have your phone and you have Etjal out. Just say, yes, I have Etjal up, and we can do that for whatever amount of class we have left. Maybe we can actually do it like at least once or twice before we end class today. And then next week we can do it a few more times than what we're doing today. Okay, so let's see. We had Fatih go. I think Bushra, I think you're next. Is that correct?
Okay. Um, so we did برحمتك من القوم الكافرين. Next one is اللهم إنا نجعلك في نحورهم ونعوذ بك من شرورهم. This one
Awesome.
start. So in نجعلك, in this one, this is verb with a pronoun. So that's مفعول به.
Good.
And it's a
Okay.
mudari, right?
Good. Naj'al. Yes, you're right. Naj'al is mudari verb and the kaf is a maf'ul bihi. Yes.
في نحورهم, that would be jar majrur. No.
Yes. Fi nuhuri is a jar majrur. Yes. What else is it? Nuhurihim.
نحورهم, nuhur would be the verb.
Is
It's
nuhur a verb if it's a part of a jar majrur?
No, it's
Right. Every jar majrur is a harf jar plus an isim, right? So
ism
nuhud.
majroor, correct.
Yeah, there you go. Nice, nice. Awesome.
The nuhuri, him is the pronoun, so that is so ism.
Awesome. Okay, but what's nuhuri him together?
I am not 100% what this one is. Nuhur is the throat. It was discussed in the video.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So it's like putting something up front.
Yeah, that's how it's understood. Yeah.
And then na'udhu bika, which is seeking refuge. Bika again is a jar majroor. Sorry.
Good. Awesome.
And min shururihim, that is min shururihim, that is the plural of the shar.
Good.
So that's which is evil.
Good,
Seeking
yeah.
refuge from their evil.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. It's also a jar majrur, and these are both idafas to nuhurihim and shururihim. Yeah,
Yes,
awesome. So we're saying indeed, like naj'aluka, so like we have made you like to fi nuhurihim, we have put you like in front of them. It's metaphorically, it's like literally at their throats, which is like right in front of them, I guess. But it's using that language as a type of image. Awesome. Thanks for sharing it, Mike. And then when na'udhu bika, na'udhu is also a present tense verb. I think you may have mentioned that. And we seek refuge in you from their evils, right? Awesome. Okay, let's do the second part to this. Yeah, Shazia.
Just very quickly, what is the meaning of this phrase? Allahumma inna naj'aluka. What is the meaning of that?
So Allahumma by itself is a calling to Allah. It's just saying, oh Allah. And the technical grammar of it, you won't learn until level 3. So right now you just have to memorize it's making dua to Allah specifically, not to anything else.
And
Yeah,
inna is I.
Yeah, so inna actually, this inna, because it has a shadda, it's not just I. It's actually indeed, inna plus na, the we. So it's
Indeed.
indeed we, so it's a type of emphasis saying indeed we put you and like in front of them. So it's a type of emphatic inna. And so it looks like ana, so it wouldn't be ana, right? It would be inna plus na together. And so what happens is because you have 3 noons here, you have noon with the shadda and this other noon, you combine them and you add the alif because so that we know that this na is there, and then we keep the shadda there.
So what is the naj'aluka then?
That's the verb, right?
It's a verb. It's a
ja'ala, yaj'alu, nahnu, naj'alu.
Nahnu. Okay.
Yeah, it's a conjugation for nahnu in the mudari. And it has to be nahnu because it's matching the na. It has to match this na.
Okay.
Right? If it was I, it would be inni. It would look like this. If it was for me, it would be inni. Indeed, I aj'aluka, right? Then we have to conjugate for ana.
Thank
Ana
you so much.
right?
Yes, it makes sense now.
All right. Okay. Okay, we have a few more. Let's see, get through this kind of quickly, inshallah. All right. We'll go ahead and play it and we can have some people present, inshallah.
اللهم فصل على محمد وآله وخذ ظالمي وعدوي عن ظلمي بقوتك وافلل حده عني بقدرتك واجعل له شغلا فيما يليه وعجزا عما يناويه اللهم لا أشكو إلى أحد سواك ولا أستعين بحاكم غيرك حاشاك فصل على محمد وآله وصل دعائي بالإجابة.
All right. So, Bismillah. I think we had Bushra. Let's go ahead and take Bilal. Can you give me these first 3 blanks, please?
اللهم فصل فصل على محمد وآله وخذ ظالمي
Yeah.
عدوي عن ظلمي بقوتك.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, tell me just what you're seeing.
Allahumma, is that it's not exactly a command, but it's a request, right?
Yeah, it's just an indication of dua specifically for Allah, right? So it's saying, oh
Yeah.
Allah. Yeah.
فصل على محمد, so على محمد prepositional phrase.
Nice, awesome.
وآله وخذ ظالمي. That's a إضافة ظالمي,
Yeah,
attached
nice.
pronoun.
Nice.
Same with عدوي
Nice.
and ظلمي.
Awesome. Anything else you're seeing?
And then بقوتك, so we have a prepositional phrase and an إضافة, right?
Yeah, awesome. Great job.
And
Yeah,
then,
great.
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you got all the prepositional phrases and idafas, which is awesome. Oh, you missed one. An dhulmi. That's also a prepositional
Oh,
phrase.
yes. عن
Yeah.
ظلمي as well, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay, great. And then we also have fasalli. This is a command verb. It's form 2, so don't worry about it. That shadda, though, is telling us it's form 2. It comes from sad, lam, al, yeah, right? Salla yusalli. And this is what we mean to send prayers, right? The Greek letter gets dropped because it's a command. Ala Muhammadin, right, upon Muhammad and his family. This wow is connecting, right, that these together. Wa khud is a command. It's a special command. It comes from akhada ya'khudu, and then I think we've done this conjugation, I believe. When you do the command, you drop that hamza and it becomes khud, right? And then also dhalimi is going to be by maf'ul bihi, and so is adui. Those are both maf'ul bihis because it's saying take my oppressor and my enemy from my oppression, as in remove them from my oppression, which will then remove the oppression, right? Because the cause of the oppression is gone. And then biquwwatika, that was correct, right? By your strength. Yes, Idam.
So alihi is also idafa.
Yes, you're right. Sorry, I missed that one. Thank you.
And
Yes.
because of Allah, is it also in jar case or no?
Yes, it's also in Jad because of Allah, because it's following Muhammad.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for pointing those out. That was awesome. All right. Next we have, let's see, Asif, could you give us the next four, I think it's 5 blanks, and then tell me what you notice.
Okay. So can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. وافلل وافلل حده عني بقدراتك واجعل له شغلا فيما لا يليه وأجزا أما يناوي.
Awesome. Okay, so what are you noticing? I know there's a lot here. So some of them are tricky too.
So the first one, waflul, is that a command?
Yes, absolutely. Awesome.
Okay. حده أني بقدراتك. See, so بقدراتك is, so the B is jar, sorry, harf. So
yeah, nice.
so we have
Nice.
possess. So the B and the kudra is
Yeah.
possessive, and then the
Is it possessive or is this a prepositional phrase?
Sorry, prepositional.
Yeah, nice.
Phrase.
Yeah, and it's the harf jad with jad majud construct, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then so the kudratika, so the ka is that's the idafa.
Yeah, nice. That's the idafa. Cool. What else? What are you seeing anything else?
Okay. I'm looking at so shuglan. Is that the direct object?
Yeah, good. For what verb?
It's the direct object for I think it's for qudra, or
Okay, is qudra a verb here? Bi qudratika. If it comes after a harf jar, right?
oh no,
Wouldn't it-
it's for ja'ala.
Good, awesome. It's
Yeah,
for waj'al. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so it's a
Okay.
direct object for ja'ala, and then
Yeah.
there's also the other direct object,
Mhm.
ajzan is the other direct object.
Yeah,
for-
it's another. Yeah. You know what, ajzan?
yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, I can show us some of the others, but where are you at?
see. I think that's all I got.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that was great. Thank you. Okay, so haddahu is also maf'ul bihi and idafa, right? Um, anni, that's also a jar majrur construct, right? From me. Okay. And falla, see, this is also one of those words because we have two lams. We can say originally this looks like this in the form one. Falla, it has a doubled root letter. Can someone look this up? How would I look this up in the dictionary, Zahira? What am I looking up? Am I looking up fa lam lam or fa lam?
It's just lam.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Awesome. All right. Okay. وجعل, we said lahu is also jaru majrur. Fima is also jaru majrur. The sma is a ism mawsul. Yalihi is a verb. It is a melodic verb. It comes from wala yali. Okay, and it means to manage or to govern. Wa'ajzan, there's maf'ul bihi. Amma again is another jaru majrur. Yunawihi. Yunawi is also a verb. It's melodic. And the ha is a maf'ul bihi. Okay, this is a form three verb, but we haven't covered yet, but it's form three. It comes from nawa yunawi means to be hostile. So when we translate this, we're saying, and like make him like make wafilul haddahu. So like manage we translate as like I believe we say restriction, right? In our translation, like his limits from me, as in like, uh, hold on, falla. Yes, sorry, not it doesn't mean manage. That's yalihi, excuse me. Um, Waflul means to weaken or subdue. So like subdue his restrictions upon me with your strength and make for him like a type of occupation in what he manages or in what he's governed what his responsibilities are. As in like make him busy with his own affairs. Wa'ajdan and make him and weak, right? And make him weak from what? He like is hostile towards. Nawa means to be hostile. So it's asking to busy this person, occupy them with their own occupation. So keep them, as in like don't distract them and make them occupied with me because they're oppressing me, but have them be concerned with what is actually they're supposed to be their concern, and remove that, weaken them from what they're hostile towards, as in prevent them from coming towards those things that they hate and causing harm, right? Yes, Bashar, go ahead.
Quick question.
Hmm?
You mentioned Bahud,
Yeah.
Alif, probably Hamza got dropped.
Yeah.
Because Kha has Dhamma on it.
No. That's actually one of the reasons, yeah. Because if you notice, iflul, the first root letter usually has a sukun. I'll show you how it looks. It goes from akhada ya'khudu, and then to make it ukhud, what do? We have to get rid of the ya, and we turn this into a sukun. But what do I get? I get a hamza with a sukun, and then I get khud, right? But then I have to add an alif here, right? And that alif is technically supposed to have a dhamma. And so it would sound like khud. It literally like there's a little bit of like a staggering because the hamza is a deep letter. You go khud. And technically this is supposed to when you have two hamzas like this, you're supposed to turn it into a mud. So it's supposed to go like this. So it'd be like khud, but that wouldn't make sense because it's supposed to have a dhamma because the kha, right? The vowel on the alif for the root letter um matches the vowel on that second root letter, right? And the problem we have is that doesn't work with the med. And so they just get rid of it and they're like, "Oh, we just have khud." Yeah.
Okay, so it's a because of we had Hamza in the beginning. That's why
Yeah.
the Dhamma for command doesn't work. So we dropped the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And the technicalities of how to do this, there's a whole science behind it. It's a part of sarf. It's a part of morphology. It's like what happens when such and such thing happens? Like, oh, we do this and this and this, and you're just like pulling the language apart to like make sense of it. Okay, one last one, and then we'll go on our break, inshallah. I think we have, let's see, Amina. Go ahead and give us these last four blanks, please, and tell me what you notice.
Okay, so the first blank is ashku. Allahumma la ashku.
Nice, awesome.
And then ila, I didn't see it. And then the next blank is astahinu.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And then the final blank on that line is hashaka.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all the line.
4.
Mm-hmm.
And so Allahumma is, oh Allah, La is the negation.
Yeah.
Ashku is going to be your verb. And so this is going to be a modare.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Okay. And then ila is going to be like a harf jar. So then your ahadin is going to be in your jar case.
Right. Nice. Awesome.
Okay. Istawa.
This is tricky. I'll just tell you it because it's a little tricky. It's actually nadafa. Yeah.
Okay.
It means like without you or except for you. It's a type of exception.
Okay. And then wa is your conjunction, la is negation, asta'inu.
What would you guess it is?
It looks initially like a verb.
Nice.
But
Good.
then, okay.
You're
But
right
then
about
the
that.
suffix part got me a little bit
Okay,
confused.
so
The
what is that
inu.
suffix part? What kind of verb would you guess it is? Mudari, madi, or amr?
I would think amar.
Okay, what does amr end in
No,
usually?
amar
Sukuns,
ends
right?
in sukuns, yes. So then,
Yeah.
so
So
this
we're
would be
gonna,
mudare then.
yeah, awesome. And that
Okay.
that prefix is actually the reason it's the hamza, right? It's saying asta'inu. And here's another clue. We can say, well, it starts with ashku for ana. So the subject is still I, right? I'm still asking God for things. And so
Okay.
asta'inu is actually like to seek help.
Count. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the next one would be hakimin. This is going to be your like ism majrur,
Yeah, Jar Majid contract.
jar
Awesome.
majrur. And then ghayrika is going to be like an idafa because the ga is the pronoun.
Nice.
And
Awesome.
then hashaka, that I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's okay. This is like an
Okay.
idafa kind of, but it's actually not, sorry. It's a special construct. Hasha means like with this kaf indicating Allah lafz jalala is it's saying like God forbid. It's a special construct that you get from a verb conjugation, yeah. Awesome. And then we have فَصَلِّ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِهِ وَصِلْ دُعَائِ بِالْإِجَابَة. So sil here is also a command verb, and it comes from wasala. Okay, the wow gets dropped because I have a problem. The wow is a weak letter, so it gets dropped because I would have like sil, literally, right? It would be like, because this is a kasra, it would be sil, and we don't like the sound in Arabic, so we get rid of the wow. So it just becomes sil, like connect. Or here it means like attach, or I think what we have is confer, bestow, like that's what's working here. Establish. Du'a'i, idafa, my du'a with ijaba, jar majrur, and with an answer, like as in with a, if you answer the du'a, Allah is accepting it, right? All right, any questions on this before we go to a quick break? We're gonna have to keep it short today, unfortunately. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and take like a 6-minute break if that's okay, so we just have time to get to our Quran and text analysis, inshallah. But I'm gonna go ahead and pause. And let's see. Also have your, if anyone has the app, just let me know in the chat. Just say, just type in app or just say dictionary app, and that tells me you have it out. And then we can look up a couple of words, inshallah. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you guys in about 6 minutes. All right, inshallah, everyone is back. Okay, let's go ahead and start our Quran analysis. So we're going to keep going through our list and we're going to have people breaking down surahs. What I'm going to go ahead and do, just so we get some practice with the dictionary, is I'm going to like highlight words that I'd like us to try to look up. Okay, we're going to slowly start doing them together. So maybe we'll do like 3 today, maybe 4 if we have time. Let's see, but we ended at, I think, Amina, so we'll start with Zahira. So Zahira, go ahead and give me the grammatical breakdown that you're seeing here. And then if someone else who has a dictionary, let me go ahead and just pick someone, whoever's first on my list. I think first was Omar. Uh, yes, Omar, and then we'll have Mike go. Omar, I'd like you in the meantime to look up this word here. So we'll ask you about it after Zahira is done.
So how far did you want me to go?
Just the whole verse. أرأيت
Okay.
الذي ينهى. Yeah.
Okay. So أرأيت الذي ينهى. So the first alif is like the hamza of questioning.
Nice, awesome.
And then ra'aita is past tense verb, it's madi. And then yanha is a present tense verb, I believe.
Nice, awesome, yeah.
And then alladhi is a pointing noun.
Yeah, nice. And so it's an ism, and so we treat it like an ism. So that means it takes all the roles grammatically that an ism can take, and that includes mubtada, khabar, fa'il, maf'ul bihi, ism majroor. All those are possible.
So I would assume in this case that it would be the maf'ul bihi.
Nice, yeah, you're right. Awesome.
Okay.
Cool. Great job. Yeah. All right, thank you. Okay, so let's see, Omar, what did you get for yanha? Can you tell me more about it? Like, what are its root letters?
I think I found Nehu.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. What is it? How does it read in the Madi?
In the medley,
Yeah.
that I'm not too sure. Like
Okay.
what I'm seeing is I'm not
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
I'm
hold
not too
on.
sure how to read this exactly.
So you actually, what page are you on in the dictionary?
1180.
Okay, so go to the beginning of naha yanhi. So because you're at nahiya, which is the end of it. So sometimes the dictionary will do this, is that it'll give you the verbs, the nouns at the end. But do you see how you have like on the left nahiya, manhi? Go backwards a little bit till you find the verbs. So you'll find the start of the verbs, and that's where you want to get your information.
Nihaya. I'm
There you
finding
go. Do you have naha with a waw and naha with a alif with a ya? It should be on page 1178.
1178.
Yeah, keep going back, yeah, until you get there.
Oh yeah. Nahi,
Yeah.
prohibitory, prohibitive,
Let's see.
prohibitionary. Is that?
Yeah, but I want to hear verbs. We want verb conjugation. So it should be like I have to forbid, prohibit, ban, interdict, prescribe. Are you seeing that on 1178?
Nahu. Sorry, the app is kind of I'm unsure where something ends and where it starts. Nahu, okay, yeah, Naha. I think that's it.
Okay, go ahead and keep reading.
Oh, to forbid,
Yeah, there you go. That's the
prohibit,
verb. That's the
ban.
verbal entry.
Ah,
So you see, look at
mhm,
what's right before that. It's a different root letter. Naha, right? Nun ha nun. And then you get nun ha wow. So if you go
hmm,
above it, right, that's the end of the previous entry, right?
mhm,
And so yeah, good. So you have naha, that's the madi, and then you have yanhu, right? But here we have
mhm,
yanha, so that first entry is not the one we're looking for. If you keep going down, go down a little bit because you see how not you don't go down, just keep reading. Then you have naha, yanha. There's two potentials, and they both have similar meanings, right? So that's what we have yanha here, meaning to forbid, to protect.
hmm.
Okay, awesome. So sometimes a word will have a wow, it could be wow or ya, and that's not common, but naha is, I guess, one of those words. Awesome, thank you. All right, so we had Zahira. Let's go ahead and take Yusuf B. Tell me what's happening with verse 10. And then Mike, if you'd like to look up صلى for me.
So, abadan,
Mm-hmm.
either sola.
Mm-hmm.
So we're beginning with a word in nasab.
Mm-hmm.
Is this continuing from the previous?
Yeah, that's what we would assume, yes. So what's its relationship to that verb ينهى?
Is this a second maf'ul bihi?
Okay, now you have to ask, which verb is it a maf'ul bihi for? رأيت or ينهى?
I think it actually would be yanha that it would be a maf'ul bihi for.
Yeah, good. That's correct.
Uh-huh.
Awesome. Okay. Anything else you can give me?
Either sola, is this these two words are a construct together, right?
They are, yeah, but this is actually a really unique construct. It's a construct we know, but it's formulated in a very unique way. But yeah, إذا means time. It's like it basically means when. But here, it's being used within an idafa, which is really strange. We've never seen this before, but Arabic gets this complicated where the sentence, the verb after it is my mudaf ilayhi for إذا. Okay, now we're not going to go into how or why, but that's what's kind of happening grammatically here. And it's because إذا is a special type of word that can create an idafa with a verb. So we're not going to talk more about that. But what kind of verb is صلى? Oh, actually, we have Mike giving us that.
Yeah, I'll go into that, but just a question on that. I know you said we're not going to go into it, but just at a high level, like uh Ida Salah, like how would you translate that? Is like
Yeah, when
when
he prays.
praying?
Huh? Yeah. Either when he prays or when he prayed. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so here though, so what we're looking at overall is that have you seen the one who forbids his servant when he prays? Okay, that's what it's
Mhm.
talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Asif, you have a question?
So إذا صلى is an إضافة. So the صلى is مضاف إليه
Yeah.
because of the ألف مكسورة.
No.
Or
So
is
this
it
is yeah,
that's
this is something we'll
natural
learn
extension
later. We've kind of
of
seen it. It's in the Judd case, but there's no sign because I have a verb. A verb can't take a sign for a mudaf ilayhi. It's a verb, right? So the verb as a sentence, like imagine there's an imaginary box around the remember, every verb is a sentence, right? Every verb is conjugated for a specific pronoun, and that pronoun is the doer for that verb, or it's the specific attached pronoun, like dhahabu, the wow is my fa'il, right? But every verb, when you see the verb for itself, it's technically a verbal sentence, right? Because it has the pillars, it has the verb, and it has the doer already within the conjugation. And so here, with that in mind, when we think about salla, it's like imagine I put a little box around this, and it's like this is my verb, my gate around my verbal sentence. This gate, the sentence, is in the jar case as a sentence. I can't see the sign for it. Why? Because the sentence is blocking my ability to apply a sign for it because it's a sentence. It's not a word. The signs, right? The signs that we know, dhamma, alif, whatever it might be, fatha, kasra, only apply to nouns, right? When I have a sentence now in the role of a noun, like taking a case that a noun normally takes, the sign is not going to be there the same. It won't be there. We won't see it. The case is still there, but the sign is not present because I can't see that it is jud explicitly. It's like when I say, the attached pronoun that's a maf'ul bihi, it's fixed, but it's in the nasab case. I just can't see the sign. It's similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, go
Okay.
ahead, Mike. Go ahead and give me the verb.
Okay. So there's both here in Answer for
Mm.
the root letters Sod, Lam, Wow, and Son, Lam, Yeah.
Okay.
So just on context, Sod, Lam, Wow makes more sense, which means
Yeah.
to perform
Right.
salah,
Nice.
prayer, worship, to lead people in
Nice.
prayer.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, and if you notice, look, it immediately starts with the Roman numeral 2, which means that this verb probably doesn't have a form 1, right?
Hmm.
So we don't see the form 1. If it was there, it would be prior to that Roman numeral 2. Whereas if you look at salah, right, there is a form 1. It's to roast, to broil, so on. or to burn, right? That's actually cool because then you start thinking about, well, what's the connection between these words? And someone might say, well, they're the same root letters. Maybe prayer is what burns away our sins, right? When you go from one prayer to the next, and I believe it actually your minor sins, right, can be removed, right? So
Mm.
I like small sins, not the kaba'ir, but like little things here and there, right? Um, okay, awesome.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Let's go ahead and take. We had Yusuf B. I think next we have Tabassum. Can you give me verse number 11? And then we'll have, who was it? After Mike, Amina, can you find the word huda for me? And this is a noun, so that's just a hint. Could you find the word huda in the dictionary?
So, Ra'aita is a past tense word and conjugated for anta.
Mm-hmm.
And Kana, I'm not sure. We did said sometimes back that
Yeah.
it is still a verb.
Yeah, it's technically a verb, but it's a special verb that gets, we'll learn more about it in level 2. But right now it is a past tense verb right now. Yeah. It is. That's what it is, but it's special.
Okay. And then Alal Huda, Allah is the harfijar.
Nice.
And then Huda, I was expecting a jar over here because
Yeah.
it is, but I don't see the sign,
Right.
at least not visible to me. So
And you're right, it's not visible because that alif maqsuda is hiding it. It's another thing that can hide a sign. So you're right, it's an ism majroor, it's in the jar case, but I can't see the sign because of the alif maqsuda. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. All right. We had Amina, can you tell me more about the word huda in the dictionary?
Having a little bit of trouble locating. I'm on page
Okay.
1199. Is that right?
Okay. Let me see.
Mhm.
I'm there. Did you find it?
Okay. Oh, hold on. Is it the last one on the
There you
very
go.
bottom? Hada? Yeah.
Yeah, hada. So that's the madi,
Hada.
hada, right? So remember, now
Okay.
you start with your verbs, right? So now you go ahead, turn the page, and when you
New
end with your
page.
verbs,
Uh-huh.
you should be able to find it.
4, 5, 6. Guidance, direction.
Okay, now look at the transliteration. That's important. Look at the
Oh,
translation
that's
for
Hadi. Okay, so
yeah.
that's
So
not
that's telling
right.
the
Okay.
transliteration is telling you the vowels, right?
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Now let's go to the next entry.
So next entry, Hodan, right
That's
guidance.
that's the
Okay.
one.
Okay.
And it's hudan because it's an alif maqsura, and it just takes the tanween because it's an alif maqsuda, and it's just because it's a weak letter. It just does this weird thing. But yeah, awesome. If you guys notice in the dictionary, for those that have it, there's usually little spaces between the different entries, and so that should help you kind of guide you through the entries. Awesome. Thank you. Great job. Cool. Next we have, because we had Tabassum Shazia. Can you give me the next verse? Oh, amara bittaqwa. Bittaqwa. Excuse me, light letter.
Um, so amara is a command verb.
Mm-hmm.
Bittaqwa is this is harf, and with harf is harf jar, with harf
Mm-hmm.
ism majroor, and then aw is I don't know. I'm not sure what is aw. Is it also a command?
I was actually a conjunction.
Okay.
Yeah, it means or. Yeah. But yeah, amara is fi'l madi, nice. And then what did you say the taqwa is again?
So bit taqwa uh, is a ism with is a majroor
Yeah, good. Jar majroor. Yeah, right. Yeah, awesome. All right, awesome. I'm not gonna ask what the root letters of this are because unless someone really ambitious wants to try to look it up. But it's not qawaya. So this is actually one of those roots you're like, oh, qawaya, that's not gonna work. So it's actually what we call it comes from waqa. Yeah. Or waqa, excuse me. Waqa yaqi. This was, remember the amr for this is qi, like to protect. It looks like a shield, right? It comes from waqa, which means to protect, because having taqwa is a protection, right? Okay, next we had Shazia. I think we have Omar. Can you give me the next verse, please?
أرأيت is is like هل it's like question.
Yeah, nice.
رأيت is madly for second person singular. رأى
Awesome.
in
Nice.
is that كذب. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know كذب. I don't know كذب. Is that like
Yes, let me
emphasis?
try. That's close. Idam, can you look this one up in the dictionary? And then Asif, can you look up tawalla for us? But yeah, what kind of word does it look like to you? Like, is it ism, a fi'al, or a harf?
This looks like a فعل, but the shadda throws me off though. I'm unsure.
Yeah. Good. Good. You're right. It's a fi'al. What kind of fi'al would you say they are?
I just ignoring the shadda. It's like madly
Yeah, nice.
هو conjugation.
Yeah, you're right. And tawalla also is that. They're both the same. Um,
ولا-
and you're
Mhm.
absolutely right. But what we're seeing again is these are different forms. Kadhaba is a form 2, tawalla is a form 5. What we want to
Mhm.
just be able to do is at least look at the verb and be able to say, okay, if I see this, can I tell that it's a verb? Like the what you're doing right now. If I remove the shadda and that ta, does this still look like a verb? And that's really where we want to be, is like I can at least identify that it's a verb, and by eliminating the other possibilities. It's not a harf for sure, and it doesn't look like an ism, it doesn't have a no tanween, so it must be a verb, right?
Mhm.
Awesome. Iram, did you find kadhaba?
Actually, I found I did Kazaba,
Uh-huh.
and it's page 957. It's Kadiba. Does it
Yeah.
matter? The
So keep
same.
reading. Remember I said this is a form 2, right? It's a form 2 verb. So that means it's in the verb section, it just has a Roman numeral 2. So kadhaba is a form 1, right? But if you go down a little bit do you see the form 2 there?
Yes, so it's a form two to accuse of lying,
Mm-hmm.
call a liar,
Yeah, keep going to disbelieve.
uh, disbelieve, give the lie.
The SO means someone. So if you
Oh,
see an SO means someone, if you see STH, which if you look a couple lines down, that means something. And it's referring to like an object, usually like a direct object of some sort. Nice.
right.
Yeah, awesome. So this is someone who's like lying, right? And then who did we have looking up tawalla?
I think I did.
Okay, awesome. What did you look up?
Um, to turn away. So form five. Yeah, form five.
Yeah, good. But what were the root letters you thought it was?
Ta and
Okay.
oh, sorry. Not ta, w- uh,
Yeah, the ta in the beginning of a form 5 is actually extra.
yeah.
It's part of the form, so we're going to ignore it.
So hang on. Oh, I lost my browser.
Okay, so our root letters here are going to be wala, yeah.
Yeah, lam.
Yeah, waw, lam, and we're going to try for yeah, right?
And,
Awesome. And if you go to the form 5, what are you seeing?
the definition.
Yeah.
So to turn away.
Yeah, but go to read from the dictionary.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you see the 5, the Roman numeral 5? Okay, while you're doing that, we'll go ahead and have, let's see, where were we? I think we're at Shazia UN, so we have Omar for verse 14. أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ يَرَى.
I think I already went, but I can go
Oh,
this one as well.
okay, sorry. Let me go ahead and see who's next. Let's see. We have Alevi, and then we have Misbah for 15. Awesome.
All right. So alam ya'lam bi anna Allah yara.
Okay.
Yara is a verb. I'll start with the end.
Okay.
To see.
Okay, awesome.
It's a past tense verb, right? Fi'l
Yeah.
madi.
Yeah. No, this actually
No
isn't. So this
presence.
comes from, so this is yara. It's present tense, and one of the reasons we know is the ya in the beginning, but it's an
Okay.
irregular verb. So irregulars are hard because, they have like a weak letter, or they have a weak letter with a hamza, which is what this word has. It comes from ra'a, right? Ara'ayta. Well, this is what's
Okay.
interesting. It's like almost like you're paying attention to the same verb. Al-ra'ayta, don't you see the one? And then at the end, alam ya'lam bi anna Allah yara, right? So it's like it's interesting. There's a questioning in the beginning of like, do you see this and this and this? And then at the end, it's like, well, what you should know is that God sees. Like he's all seeing, right? But it comes from ra'a and it's ra hamza ya. And so
Okay.
what happens in the mudari is that the hamza gets dropped. Yeah.
So Allah is the subject here. He's
Yeah.
the one who sees.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why there's the ha on the fatha on the?
Yeah, it's because of anna. Anna causes the ism after it to take a fatha.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah, and it's emphatic. It's a special type of sentence. Again, we'll learn about it in level 2, I believe. And so that's what's happening there. Yeah. But the technical fa'il is actually not Allah. The
Okay.
technical fa'il is actually the embedded huwa for my verb conjugation, and it's referring to Allah.
Okay.
Yeah, because remember, fa'ils come after verbs. A fa'il can never come before the verb.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah, awesome. And what
Right.
about alam ya'lam? Did you give me that?
Alam ya no. So that's does he not know?
Yeah, good. What kind of word is ya'lam?
So yalam is a verb,
Yeah.
a present tense verb.
Nice, awesome. And so this is lam is also it puts the mudari in into take a sukoon, excuse me. And so the lam is saying, did you not know, like in the past? It's intended in the past, but the meaning is a little bit more emphatic.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Thank you. Omar, go ahead. Do you have a question?
Yeah, is that the same with inna? And if so, why is there a fatha instead of a kasra?
Yeah, that's a good question. They're just sisters actually. Anna and Inna are sisters. Yeah, they're the source, the main sister, like the oldest sister is Inna. And then literally in Arabic they call Inna wa akhawatuha. It's literally like they translate it. They say Inna and her sisters. And so it's Inna plus a bunch of other words that act like Inna does. So they're very similar, yeah. But it usually gets translated as that, whereas Inna is emphatic. Anna usually means that. Like, do you not know that Allah knows, right? So the actual particle has a different meaning. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it just out of curiosity, can we take this out and would it have the same meaning or
No.
besides the emphasis? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Remember, you can't take anything out of the Quran without changing the meaning because every single letter is there for some purpose. And sometimes we don't know the purpose for all of it. Like the sciences that we study are giving us potentials for what the meanings of those things are, right? So,
I guess, sorry, just to rephrase, would it be grammatically correct?
grammatically it would be well, وَأَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ. I don't think it would make as much sense. أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ. Yeah, I do not know. So the ba, maybe you could do away with أَلَا يَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ. I think you could do away with the ba technically. I mean, not. I don't even want to say that. Like, I don't think like grammatically it would still work if you didn't have a ba. And that's because the ba is a harf zaid, and that the reason is that harf zaid is literally there for extra emphasis.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Yes, another question.
Yeah, so grammatically speaking,
Mhm.
could you switch Allah and yara? Like,
So in this type of sentence, no,
yeah.
and that's because the ism that comes with anna usually will come immediately after anna. Yeah, it's the way anna
Okay.
works.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Next we have, okay, let me see.
It's me.
Yeah.
Okay. كلا لئن لم ينتهي نسفعا بالناسية. Kalla is an emphasis word, so
good.
read. لئن لم
I'll come back to it. Yantahi is a uh, it's a verb, mudare.
Yeah.
And it's
Mudari. Yeah, good.
and it has an attached pronoun.
No,
No,
actually
it's
that
just
ha is a
the whole
part
verb. The
it's a
ha is
part
part
of the
of the
root.
verb. It's
Yeah,
for
this
the
is
root,
coming
okay.
from naha, like we
Okay.
see, like we had in the beginning of the surah, but
Okay.
it's a different form. So it's a form,
Okay.
we'll see it's form 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's conjugated for huwa.
Yeah.
Okay. Or okay. La nasfa'an. So that's another. It's a present tense verb. It's conjugated for nahnu.
Yeah.
And bin nasia. That's a prepositional phrase.
Yeah. Good.
And that's a noun. Nasia is a noun.
Yep. Okay, thank you. All right, so just a couple more things. So someone might be like, why did nasfa'an have a tanween there? And the reason it has tanween is because this is something again you're gonna learn in level 2. What's happening is it's actually so the lam is for emphasis, but then we have our mudari verb nas fa, and there's technically a noon here. And we're gonna see that the noon at the end of a mudari verb sometimes like this will be for emphasis. It's emphasizing the verb. It's called nuna tawkid. It's the noon of emphasis, and it comes with verbs. And I believe mostly with melodic verbs. But what happens is because of the writing, they just turn this noon into a tenween because it's a little shorter. And so that's what's happening here. So it's not an ism. This tenween doesn't mean this is an ism. So for some that may have thought that, that's not what's happening here. It's just representing the noon of tawkid because think about it. La nasfa'an, it sounds the same. So that just becomes a fath. They just do the fathatain. Awesome. Okay, great. Next we have, I think we have Mike next.
ناسية
Mm-hmm.
كذبة خاطئة.
خاطئة, yeah. كاذبة خاطئة.
Okay. So ناسية,
Mm-hmm.
that is an ism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then كذبة.
كاذبة.
كاذبة. Okay.
Yeah, it's on the اسم فاعل, right? فاعلة.
Okay. Um, okay. So right.
So this, yeah. So what would you guess this is? It has a relationship to nausea before it.
I see.
You see, like the ending, it has a tenween of kesra. So, and
Right.
it's a little tricky. This is something we haven't covered yet, right? But what it's basically doing is clarifying the type of nausea we're talking about. So, nausea is like the forehead or the forelock, like the hair right at the top of the forehead. And it's clarifying, it's saying, كلا لأن لم ينتهي بنسفع الناسية. So, like, whoa, like, no. Um, like he doesn't stop, right? He doesn't stop from dragging the forelock, right? لأن لم ينتهي لنسفع بالناصية. What type of nausea is it? It's the forelock or the forehead that's lying and sitting. That's what it's doing. It's kind of clarifying it. This is something, it's called badal, and it's something that you won't even, I don't even think you cover it in level 2. You might cover it in like level 3 or 4, so you don't have to worry about it. But let's go ahead and keep going. Thank you,
So,
Mike.
is that a sifa?
So
كذبة?
that whole construct, kadhiba and khatiya, are both sifa for nausea, yes.
I see.
But
Okay.
this nausea has a relation to this one. And it's
Right.
like, it's kind of giving us more information about it. It's kind of like a sifa, but not really.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
It's because it does things similar to a sifa, like it matches in gen, but not completely, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. هذه هذه
Khatiya, yeah.
هذه so this looks like another ism.
Yeah, good, it is.
Yeah.
It's also going to be another sifa.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I feel like we've come full circle. What I'm going to do is just for the sake of time, I'm gonna go ahead and just go through the rest of this and see how much we can get through of our story. I don't think our story is very long for today, but so that we can kind of finish in time. If you have questions along the way, just note them or type them in the chat and we can answer as many as we can, inshallah. So then we have فَلْيَدْعُ نَادِيَهُ, right? So um, this is coming from da'a yad'u, okay? And it's uh da'a yad'u and it's فَلْيَدْعُ. It's like saying so he call upon. It's like asking him, like kind of saying call upon nadiyah. This is a maf'ul bihi and an idafa, like your comrades or those who are like uh your circle basically. Sanad'u, we will call upon. It's the same word, right? And it's saying this scene is indicating the future. This is also fi'l mudari', right? These are both mudari' technically. Zabaniya, and this is maf'ul bihi zabaniya, and these are the angels of hell. So this is like a really intense surah. Kalla la tuti'hu wasjud waqtarib. So now it's again saying nay, right? Well, we know that's a special type of particle. Um, la tuti'hu, like we won't give him. A'ta yu'ti. Tuti' is coming from a'ta yu'ti. Sorry, it's coming. This is an a'ta yu'ti, excuse me, because the ayn is coming after the ta. This is from ata'a yuti'u, which is to obey. Okay, so I was saying it was a'ta, which is incorrect because the roots are different. But this is ata'a yuti'u. And it's like he won't obey him, and now it's saying make sujood and like draw yourself near to Allah. So contextually, this is actually referring, this is saying like la tote is a command. Okay, this is that negative command we were talking about, like don't do something because this is mudari'. And so it's like saying don't obey him, like don't listen to him, as in this individual that he's been talking about. And I believe it's referencing the Prophet. Rather, make sujood and draw close to God. So let's see what we have in our translation. Okay. Awesome. All right. Alhamdulillah. All right. So our principle for today was about, direct objects. They're maf'ul bihi, right? They're in the nasab case. Certain verbs can take one, two, or three maf'ul bihis. The ones that take three are very rare. We haven't seen many of them yet, and you probably won't see them for a while. But alhamdulillah, there's just a brief list of the different types of verbs. Let's go ahead and jump to our text analysis. Let's see. Bismillah. All right, so we're on the story of Ibrahim. So we have وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ زَوْجٌ أُخْرَى اسمها Sarah, right? So Ibrahim had another wife. Her name was Sarah. If you want to break this down, when we're looking at it, right, what are we saying? What are we seeing? Kana li Ibrahim jar majrur. Zawjun, this is like our fa'il for kana. There was a wife for Ibrahim, another wife, this is a sifa for zawj. Ismuha, her name, this is a sifa, this is like explaining the zawj. Her name was idafa, Sarah. This is also explaining zawj. This is something we haven't learned yet, so don't worry about it right now. وَكَانَ لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ, so same construct, وَلَدٌ آخَرَ, right? Same construct we saw in the first sentence. مِن سَارَةَ اسْمُهُ إِسْحَاقَ. Same exact construct that we saw in the first sentence. So there was for Ibrahim another child from Sarah, and his name was Ishaq or Isaac. وَسَكَنَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ فِي الشَّامِ وَسَكَنَ إِسْحَاقَ. And so Ibrahim, right, he's the doer for sakana, which is a fi'l madi. في شام جار مجرور وسكن إسحاق, same thing, right? وبنى إسحاق, and so Ishaq built ماضي في الماضي فاعل بيتا, بيتا لله, right? مفعول به بيتا لله for Allah, جار مجرور في الشام جار مجرور كما بنى, so كما, this is like a جار مجرور. بنى, and ما is اسم موصول. بنى is فعل ماضي. أبوه, that's the فاعل, and it's a مفعول, excuse me, it's also the فاعل, the doer. So just like his father built and his brother, right, Ismail, built a house, right, مفعول به. لله في مكة. Excuse me, لله and في مكة are both جار مجرور. وهذا المسجد الذي بناه إسحاق في الشام هو بيت المقدس. So this is a جملة اسمية, it's a مبتدا وخبر. هذا is my مبتدا, masjid is my sifa for هذا. هذا المسجد الذي is also a sifa. It's telling us more about the masjid. And so then we have بناه في الماضي. The who is a مفعول به. إسحاق is the fa'il. So this masjid, which Ishaq built it, في الشام, in Sham, jar majrur, it is, so this is another jumla ismiya, and we have a mubtada and a khabar here, and then a idafa. The whole jumla ismiya is my khabar for hada. Because we're saying, this masjid, it's the one that is Bayt al-Maqdis, right? And we're talking about, um, right. All right, the house in
So,
Jerusalem. Yeah.
what is the khabar for haza?
It's a whole sentence.
Okay.
Huwa Bayt al-Maqdisi. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
وهو المسجد. So here another jumla ismiya. So here this is just a mubtada jumla ismiya, and this is the khabar. It is in the masjid al-Aqsa, right? Huwa al-masjid al-Aqsa. This is the sifa, right? Alladhi, another sifa. Barakallahu, past tense. Allah is my fa'il. Hawlahu. Like Allah blessed around it. Yeah. See how that translates. But barakallahu hawlahu. This is an idafa technically. Hawla, it means around, so it's a dharf. Wa barakallahu, past tense, madi, again, same thing we saw before, right? Fi awladi ishaqa. This is an idafa. Awladi ishaq. Ishaq is in the jar case. It's a special foreign name, so it takes a fatha for the sign. Kama is also like a jar majrur. Baraka, right? Past tense. Fi awladi Ismail. Also, same idea. It's also, Ismail is also in the jar case. It takes a fatha in the jar case because it's a foreign name, which you'll learn in level 2. وَكَانَ فِيهِمْ, and there was, like, among them, fihim, literally, in the sense, it means like among them, but it's a jar majrur. Abna'u, this is like my doer for kana here. Wa is following abna. That's why they're not in the rafa case. And fihim is like my khabar. وَكَانَ لِإِسْحَاقَ جَارٌ مَجْرُورٌ وَلَدٌ. So this is again the same construct we had in the beginning. وَكَانَ, and there was for Ishaq a walad. The walad is the fa'il for kana. Ismuhu is like a sifa for walad. It's also a jar majrur. And Yaqubu is also a sifa. It's like telling us more about who is the walad. It's clarifying. وَكَانَ نَبِيًّا. And the kana here, the fa'il is huwa. It's embedded. Past tense verb. Nabiyan is it's like my maf'ul bihi. Remember, I'm saying like because kana is a special verb. And then we have وَكَانَ يَعْقُوبُ. This is like my fa'il. لَهُ جَارٌ مَجْرُورٌ إِثْنَا عَشَرَ وَلَدًا. So now we're transitioning to our next story. So إِثْنَا is actually like a maf'ul bihi for kana. إِثْنَا عَشَرَ has a special construct because it's a number. Numbers have special constructs, so we just will not talk about إِثْنَا عَشَرَ وَلَدًا. But to translate, it says Yaqub, he had 12 children. Minhum jar majrur. Yusufu, this is also a fronted khabar. Yusufu, this is my delayed predicate, my delayed subject, my mubtada mu'akhar. Yusuf ibn Yaqub, this is an idafa. Yusuf, the son of Yaqub. وَيُوسُفُ لَهُ قِصَّةٌ عَجِيبَةٌ فِي الْقُرْآنِ. And Yusuf writes in mubtada, له قِصَّةٌ عَجِيبَةٌ في القرآن. So this whole sentence again is a jumla ismiya that is the khabar for the mubtada Yusuf. What about Yusuf? He has a wondrous story in the Quran, right? So that by itself, له قصة عجيبة في القرآن is a sentence in and of itself. Where's my mubtada? Where's my khabar? Qissa is my mubtada. It's coming late. Lahu is my early predicate. عجيبة is my sifa for qissa. And في القرآن is my jar majrur. وإليك هذه قصة. And it's like, so for you is this story. هذه قصة, this is also an inverted jumla ismiya. This is هذا, he is my mubtada. قصة is my sifa. إليك is a jar majrur, that's my khabar. Okay, any questions on this?
I have a quick question on the in the middle of the page when it's talking about the mubtada and khabar for why is it not huwa baytul muqdasu? Why is the ending not rafa for muqdus?
Okay. You mean maqdis?
Maqdis, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Let me go back. Give me one sec. Okay, huwa baytul maqdisi. Why is it not a dhamma on maqdis?
Yes.
Okay, so baytul maqdis by itself, it's an idafa. It's the house of maqdis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why it's in the jar case. It's a mudaf ilayhi.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? I just want to apologize for like rushing through this. Um, I know we have a lot of questions and there's, people are still kind of struggling with the dictionary, so I want people to feel comfortable with it. Something I really like is, if you guys on the side could like just make a list of the things that you're still kind of struggling with in level 1A, because I really want to make sure we can make our review session a day where we're just focusing on the things that you guys want to talk about, because I get the sense that there are things you guys want to touch on, which is really good. That's super important that students know what they don't know or know what they're confused about, because you're able to kind of navigate the knowledge you have and specify what it is that you still need. And so it's really important. It's like one of the greatest skills a student can have is trying to figure out what they don't know, or being able to have a sense of what they don't know and asking those right questions to be able to figure that out, or to get answers for it. So just if you want to like make a list, and then what we can do is next week you guys can email me the list, you can privately text it to me, or you can send it in the WhatsApp group if you're comfortable. And I want to make sure we can tailor our review session to accommodate what people really want to talk about and have questions on. Yes, Bushra, go ahead.
So question on the same sentence.
Yeah.
وهذا المسجد الذي بناه. Just a little confusion. We are talking about this masjid, and then we said made by Ishaq in Sham, right?
Yeah.
Why is that's not the khabar?
Yeah, good. That's a good question. So alladhi is the type of, remember, it's a ism mawsul, and an ism mawsul always has, excuse me, that's the wrong alladhi. It's this one. It's a ism mawsul, and ism mawsuls have what we call a sila, a connecting sentence to clarify the ambiguity of the ism mawsul, because alladhi by itself means the one which, or that one. So if I were to just stop there and say the masjid, that one, I'm not getting any information. So I need this connecting sentence to explain the ambiguity. And so this sentence is like always with alladhi, and it doesn't have a grammatical role except that it's connected to alladhi, right? And so it can't be a khabar because it can't separate it. It can't move outside of alladhi, and alladhi is a sifa for masjid.
Okay.
Does that help a little?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, alhamdulillah. I think I sent the quiz in the chat, so if you guys are comfortable, go ahead and take that. If not, take some time to prep, but I think you guys should be okay, inshallah. Again, forgive me for any shortcomings today. I know we uh, went a little slower than we usually do, but if we're moving slow and it's helping people understand, I think that's very important. So like I said, come in and let me know what you're struggling with, because we really want to spend the last couple weeks making sure that people feel comfortable with the content. And the last thing I want to note is I will be sending a couple of dictionary-based questions in the WhatsApp group over the week. So if you guys are able to, we can answer some of those questions and things like that. Jazakallah khair, everyone. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum.